My assignment tonight is to talk about how difficult situations can possibly develop my purpose. Amen? Anybody understand that? But before we even go into that, can we praise God for the man of God who has us on this 90-day journey, even in his absence? We just bless you, Lord, for our shepherd. We truly do. He's on his way to his mentor, Pastor Jenkins, our mentor, invited him to come to his conference, and Pastor has said this is the year that he is going to go a little bit deeper, dig a little bit deeper, go a little bit further, and do everything that he can do to develop into the man of God that God would call him to be. So Pastor Jenkins asked him would he come to his conference, and that's where Pastor is at tonight. He'll be back on Saturday, but just pray traveling mercies for him, please. And if you guys will pray, then I definitely will be able to give you what God has given me to speak to his people tonight. Is that all right? Amen. Amen. I'm so used to him teaching on Thursday, get a little nervous when it, but I'm going to do what God called me to do. Amen. I'm going to start by saying this. It's not by accident that you're here. We've learned that when Pastor taught on last Sunday. Your mama and your daddy got together for a reason. Amen. It was a setup to bring you here. You aren't. It wasn't by chance, by happenstance. You're here for purpose. You are here for a divine purpose. And we got to get that into our spirit, because if we don't, then we can go through our lives kind of haphazardly and waiting for something to happen, hoping that something would happen. But if you really get into your spirit that my Father created me for a purpose that nobody else can do, nobody else can do what God designed and put into you to do. Amen. Can we agree to that? I think an amen goes right there. Some of us are born knowing what our purpose is. We're born with our gift. Y'all know some people like that. They come out singing. They come out playing. They come out being athletically astute. They come out a brainiac. Some people come out, they just know it. Hey, I'm gifted in that. They'll tell you, won't they? They can draw. They can hear something like Pastor and play. Some people come out like that. Am I right about it? Some of us find our purpose, or kind of it comes to us when we pray and we really kind of seek God. And then all of a sudden, God allows us to bump into our purpose. Am I right? You could be in a college, can't you? Take a class and all of a sudden, boom, there's your purpose. That's why I'm here. You could be having coffee at Starbucks, and a woman sitting across from you start talking to you, and it's a light bulb moment. Ooh, boom, there's my purpose. Some people get it like that. They bump into their purpose. Then there's a third group, and I think I'm in that group. Some of us are in that group. Some of us are little late bloomers, I call them. Our purpose develops over time. Anybody like that? I am. I'm like that. About your purpose just, I didn't wake up and all of a sudden could sing or draw. You know what I mean? I went to school, got a couple of degrees, and but some of us, we late bloomers. So I got to talk about the ones like me, who we're developing our purpose, but some difficult stuff starts happening right in the midst of us as we're on this development road. Am I right about it? Okay, so I got one or two of us can say amen all right. And I know it's the truth, because this was one of the things that Pastor had us praying about on our webpage, if you're following the prayers for the day. That was what Elder Muse prayed on yesterday. Difficult situations, how does that develop my purpose? So if it's a prayer, then that means God might allow that to happen to y'all. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to hear it either. But sometimes we're going to go through some stuff. Sometimes we're going to have something knock us upside our head. It's just sometimes. Just sometimes. So because that thing has happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to one or two of y'all, I wanted to encourage us, all of us, by talking about somebody in the Bible that it's happened to him too. Is that all right? Can we go to the Word and let the Word kind of help us and guide us along? Because we ain't Lone Rangers. We ain't on this island called life by ourselves. If it happened to this brother that I'm getting ready to talk about, and he came on through, it can happen to us, and we're going to be all right. Is that all right? All right. And let's talk about Joseph. I like Joseph. Every time I read this story about Joseph in Genesis, y'all know it, I get another revelation about it, okay? But this time, God directed me to him because of purpose. And I said, okay, Lord. So I started reading. And the first thing that came out of the set of scriptures is that Joseph was 17 years old. That's what the Bible says, when he dreamt a dream. Y'all remember that? Anybody remember the story about Joseph? He was 17 years old. Okay, so I'm 17 years old, and I get this amazing dream. So what's the first thing I do? I tell my peeps about it, right? I tell my peeps about it. So he goes and he tells his brothers about it. Now, understand something. They already don't like him. Some of us have been in that situation. I'm serious. Some of us have been in that situation. You got a lot of sisters and brothers, or it might just be two. But it seemed like mama kind of liked that one a little bit more. So sometimes you might have that envy right there in the family. This ain't nothing strange. This ain't nothing new. This happened a long, long time ago, too. So he's got these brothers that really don't care about him, and God gives him a dream. Ain't that just like God? He messes you up, don't he? All of a sudden, he puts you on Front Street. That's the way he does it. So he gives this man a dream. And in the dream, it goes on to say that, I'm going to paraphrase the dream. We're going to read it. It's in Genesis. But it goes on to say that Joseph is going to be a leader. I'm paraphrasing. So that means that the brothers immediately assume that they are going to be followers. Somebody come up to you and tell them, I'm a leader. What are they telling you? Because they ain't say, we a leader. Come on with me. So let's go to Genesis 37. Genesis 37:5, and we can get that in this New King James Version. He goes to the brothers and he says, God has given me a dream. First of all, he's young, 17 years old. They probably are from the get-go think he don't know nothing, okay? Because that's what people think about young people. They don't know nothing. You don't know what he's talking about. But the Bible goes on to say in 37:5, now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even the more. So they already was rolling their eyes at him over the kitchen table. And then you go come and tell me something God said? Okay. So he said to them, please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And indeed, your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. And his brother said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dream and for his words. Sound like a difficult situation starting to stir already, don't it? Because he think everything is cool, kind of like us. We think everything is cool. And the first thing you do is tell somebody what God told you. I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to leave that right there. Then he had the nerve to dream another dream. And he took, that's God, though. That's God. You can't hush. You just can't hush. God will tell you something, put it in your spirit, and you tell somebody, they're going to have an attitude. Then he tells you something else. And you got the nerve to go back to him and tell him something else God said. Oh, now the fire's coming out of their eyes now. You been there? I don't know. See, y'all, I'm a late bloomer, you know. Then he dreamt still another dream and told it to his brothers. I'm sorry, I'm at 5 through 11 now. Look, I've dreamt another dream. And this time, see, the other one wasn't bad enough. This time, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me. So he said it to his father and his brothers, and his fathers rebuked him and said to him, he probably said, why don't you hush? You know how they feel about you. Why don't you just be cool and just hush? Kind of like if you go to your job and you tell your supervisor, God told me that I'm going to be your supervisor one day. Kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? And the supervisor is probably saying inside, why don't you just hush? Okay. So, shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? And his brothers envied him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Told somebody about what God told you. That's the first thing. Can I just break it down? This is how to go through a difficult situation and get your purpose, okay? The first thing you might want to do is watch who you're telling. Sometimes they can be in your house, but sometimes you just got to possibly watch who you're telling, okay? That's number one. Okay. All right. Then, to make matters even worse, he goes and tells them another dream. So now they're furious at him. So I'm going to paraphrase the story. The brothers plot to kill him, okay? You remember, he goes looking for his brothers, he finds them, and they say, we're going to put him in this hole right here. Number two, got to go through this difficult situation because it's going to birth your purpose. But don't be surprised if folks try to kill you with their mouth when you start telling them what God said. Don't let it shock you so that you go ziggity-boo. Know that it's a possibility, okay, that somebody is going to say something ugly, nasty, hurtful, try to do you something, okay? Just trying to help you. Just trying to help you. Genesis 37:19 through 20 tells me, they said to one another, look, this dreamer is coming. Here she come again. That's what you're going to get, okay? Come, therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit, and we should say some wild animals. Because you know what? When people try to plot against you, they always come up with a scheme. Big old story, don't even make sense to them, but they start talking all this old crazy stuff, don't they? Well, you know, I saw her, and you know what? She came in late, and, well, what happened was, okay, all because you said, one day I'm going to be the supervisor here. Because I know my purpose, I'm a leader. See, God spoke to me 10 years ago in that dream and told me I was going to run the health department. Okay, I'm just saying. Not me. No, that's not my dream. Nope. I got another dream. That ain't the one. So the second point is, everybody is not going to celebrate your revelation. They're not going to do it. You could read something sometime in the Word, and it hits you like a ton of bricks. You pick up the phone and call somebody and be like, you saw that and that? What? Everybody's not going to celebrate your revelation, okay? Now, go on with the story with Joseph, because what a perfect example of somebody whose horrible situations really developed his purpose, okay? We all know that, thank God, Joseph did not stay in that pit. We know that they turned it around, God did, and he was sold to the Egyptians, right? Okay, so he was taken away, and lo and behold, he ends up in Potiphar's house. Y'all remember the story? Okay. Potiphar is the officer of Pharaoh. He's the captain of the guards, the whole bit. He brings him there, and he starts working with them. And my Bible tells me that God was with him. Okay, that's what the Bible says. Y'all can look for yourself. It's in Genesis 39:1-4. And then he says, and his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did prosper. So Joseph found favor. That's what the word said. Joseph found favor in the overseer's eyes. So my third thing that I want to tell you, how to get through these different situations, because it's going to work out, is keep God first, regardless of your situation. Joseph could have came out of that bitter, ugly, nasty, plotting to kill his brothers and everything. I believe when he was put in slavery, Joseph started praising. Well, God, I bless you. I think it could be worse. Do you understand what I'm saying? When we get caught in those difficult situations, especially when we know what God has said, I believe the first thing that should come into our mind, if we got any kind of good common sense, is to start praising God. God, I bless you. God, I'm glad that I'm in this situation because I could be. Joseph kept God first regardless of the things that his own brother, I'm not talking about your girlfriend, I'm talking about your flesh and blood did to him. Okay. Kept God first, though. So he goes through this whole thing, and he's working in Potiphar's house. Y'all know the story. And he's working. He's working the thing out because, see, God spoke to him when he was 17 that he was a leader, okay? Now, sidebar. How many of y'all did the spiritual gift test? Okay? How many of us know that when we saw what the gift said that we were, because it was spot on, that we might not be working in that right now, but it made you think. You start visioning yourself in it, okay? You start thinking, you know what, it said I'm a such and such. Maybe I am. It's almost like a vision board, okay? So this is what Joseph is doing. Think now. Here he is at 17. God gave him a vision board. But he's finding himself in a whole different situation. But in the back of his mind is what God said. God said, I'm a leader. So when he gets into a situation at Potiphar's house, all of a sudden that vision board came to his face, okay? I'm telling you, as you do those spiritual gift tests, when situations come up, you already know what God said because it's spot on. When you saw that thing and it said that you were a leader and it said that you were administration, God is going to put you in that situation, and that vision board is going to pop back up and you're going to start doing and becoming what God has said. So he started becoming. So the fourth thing I could tell you what to do when you're going through your situation, trying to get to your purpose, work your program. Work your program. He was working it. He was working it in Potiphar's house as if it was his own house. And that's the point. You work with a spirit of excellence in whatever situation because your gift is going to come up. You do know that. If they need somebody to count money, oh, man, that's what I do. I just saw it. That's what I do. If they need somebody to, all of a sudden, I need somebody to sing. Oh, that's what I do. Work your program. Be ye ready. Come on, Girl Scout and Boy Scouts. Come on now. Be ready. He was ready. God had already told him he was a leader. And when he got to that house, he started working it. Genesis 39:4-5 said, Joseph found favor in his sight and served him. Guess what? He was elevated. Elevated over the house. Elevated, elevated. God blessed that house because Joseph was in it. He did everything right. Now, another sidebar. Sometimes you can do everything right, working towards your purpose. You can go to the right schools, come out with no student loans. You can get that right job, right husband, right house and car, and stuff still can go ziggity-boo. It still can happen. Do you understand? Stuff still happens. It happened with him. All of a sudden, everything was going good. Then the sister, Potiphar's wife. Come on now. Everything was going great. I'm an overseer now. I didn't work this thing. They trust me. And here she come, just like the devil. All of a sudden, you working at the bank, all of a sudden, money coming up missing. You ain't did it. Am I right about it? You did your report, all of a sudden, hit something, boom, it's disappeared. Where's the report? It was due to, okay. Stuff happens, but this is what I love about Joseph. Joseph maintained his integrity. Potiphar's wife tried to put him out, put him on Front Street, said he did this, that, and the third, and he maintained his integrity. He could have, first of all, called all kind of lies. Y'all know y'all getting them officers. I didn't do nothing. I was whatever. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't do none of that. He wasn't a cheat. He wasn't doing nothing sneaky behind it. No, he was working his program. He was being who God called him to be, a leader. And this thing happened like it happens to all of us. This thing happens. Okay? I did everything right. Okay, and all of a sudden bankruptcy. This thing happens. But I still maintain my integrity. That's number 5. Maintain your integrity, even though stuff is going crazy around you, because you're working towards your purpose. You're working towards your purpose. Genesis 39:9 tells us, you can read it for yourself, there is no one greater in this house than I. This is Joseph. Nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you're his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Now understand something. He could have had anything he wanted in the house, including her. But he served a living God that he know he heard at 17 years old, and he loved God enough to say, no, maintain your integrity. That's all you have is your word. Maintain your integrity. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to be challenged sometime. Because you're going towards your purpose. You're moving into your, come on now. It's going to be a challenge, but maintain it. That's number 5. Stuff still happens. Like I said before, did everything right, car accident. Did everything right, bankruptcy. Did everything right, divorce. Things happen. But one thing we got to know, you got to be like Joseph. You got to know that God is with you. I don't care what happens. If you don't believe anything else, you have got to believe that he is right there with you. He hasn't left. He hasn't forgotten. He remembers everything that he remembers every tear that you've cried. He's right there with you. Got to remember that. How do I know? Genesis 39:19 says, so it was when his masters heard the words which his wife spoke, because, he believed his wife. Your servant did to me after this manner, that his anger was aroused. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in the prison. 23 says, the keeper of the prison did not look into anything that was under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. This is somebody that's in prison, falsely accused, but must be in prison being a bad boy. Integrity, head up, doing what they ask him to do. And you know what? Your enemies can tell that God is with you. Your enemies would look past all that stuff and see that God is with you. And sometimes God puts us in that situation too. You do understand, just so they can see. He gets the glory and we get the benefits. That's number 6, y'all. That's number 6. Stuff happens, but remember, God is with you. You got to remember that. Because people come and go. They fickle. People come and go. But God's going to be right there. He's going to be right there. He's right there in your face. My Bible tells me that God is nigh the brokenhearted. It lends his ear. That's what he says. And I believe that. I stand on that. I do, because things go weird sometimes. Number 7. This is what I love, because we say this all the time. May not come when I want him, but he's right on time. Don't we say that, men and women of God? I thought it was going to happen this week. I thought it was going to happen last year. I thought it was going to happen after I graduated. Come on now. May not come when I want him, but he's right on time. That's a good time to say thank you, Lord, right there. It really is. Bible tells me in Genesis 41:1, then it came to pass at the end of 2 full years. This man in jail again for something he did not do. 2 years. Can I tell you what happened while he was in jail, though? And this is really going to blow your mind, because most of us would have gave up a long time ago. God gives him a gift, okay? Because he's gifted all of us, okay? So God gave him a gift to be able to interpret dreams. Am I right about it? So while he was in the joint, he interprets 2 dreams. One for one guy. God said, I'm going to remember you. He goes on off by his business. Goes to another guy, because now he upset. He was like, Dad, he's supposed to hook me up. You know how we do? Maybe he forgot. He lost my phone, number change. You know how I go. Another situation comes up, he could do the same thing. Tells the man tells him his dream, interprets it. He goes off, he forgets too. Now, this is when you have to realize that God is still with you. Okay? Because I'm doing what you asked me to do, Lord. I'm operating in my gift, Lord, and ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening. I'm still sitting here in prison. Nothing, the situation has not changed. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that might happen. He might not come when you want him, because if it had been me, he should have came that first time I interpreted that dream. Now, I healed you. Come on now. I sang when they told me to go up there to praise him. I expect a record contract. Come on now, somebody. May not come when you want it to. He always on time. 2 years, God allowed him to wait. But as he was waiting, I'm kind of believing that he was learning. He really could hear God's voice then. Because sometimes when he puts you in the prison, you real apt to hear his voice then. And it gets louder and louder and louder, don't it? 2 full years. all of a sudden, things start turning around. Just like God. Just like God. Let me tell you what number 8 is. Your gift will eventually make room for you. Hold on to that. Your gift will. I have a gift of administration. All of a sudden, boom, somebody's brother opened up a business. Well, you know, she said, I remember she can do that. Am I right about it? All of a sudden, your gift will make room for you. I thought it was going to happen when I graduated back in 1982. God's timing is perfect. Your gift eventually will make room for you. Keep working that gift. Keep working towards that purpose. I'm telling you, it's going to make room for you. It did for Joseph. And God's not a man and he should lie. He didn't write this for nothing. I believe he wrote it for me. Eunice A. Perez, Regina. I'm serious, because sometimes you get weary and well-doing now. Sometimes you think, well, God, when you going to come? Come on now. I've been doing this. I showed her. I did this. I did what? Be patient. He was in jail for 2 years. All of a sudden, that gift. And then you know what I'm thinking, too? Why he was in the joint? He might have been telling other little people, interpreting other little dreams. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think that God always gives you an opportunity to work your gift. It might not be in the bright lights. You know, it might be a vacation Bible school. But God gives you an opportunity to work your gifts, to perfect it. Because one day, boom, okay? Pharaoh. Ain't that a mess? That's like President Obama calling you, elder. I got an issue. I got a situation. Come on, let me holler at you. God made it possible for the biggest thing in the land to call on Joseph. Now, this is where I'm saying that your integrity's got to come to play. He could have said, I'm not doing that no more. I thought that was my gift. I thought I was good at that. I ain't doing it no more. He knew what God had put in him. He stood on that thing, and he answered the call. That's something else. That's why the Bible says, don't get weary in well-doing. Okay, don't get weary in well-doing. You are an accountant. Keep on being an accountant. It's going to come around. I know you're tired of them numbers. It's going to come around. Keep on with integrity. So Pharaoh comes, and he says, I have a dream, and no one can interpret it. Won't that happen? That's just like our Father. He'll get people in a situation that can't nobody do it but you. Nobody's available but you. I called 6 people. Girl, I'm so glad I got you. It's a God thing, y'all. It's a God thing. God is so strategic and so wise and so wonderful. That's how he works. All of a sudden, you're in the right place at the right time. But you've been in that place for 2 years. See, there ain't no overnight successes. God uses you then because he needs you, right? So that's where am I at? Number 7. Go. Yeah. May not come when you want to. And then 8 is your gift will definitely make room for you, won't it? I believe that. I love that. So just keep pouring in on your gift. If you sow, then just sow. Sew Barbie doll clothes if you have to. Do what you do. If you do hair, get anybody's hair to do. Anybody's hair to do. And do it for free. Because if it's a gift, you'll do it for free. You will do it for free. I promise you will. You don't care. I just like to do it. You ever met somebody like that? I just do it. Oh, I just do it. I paint. I'm serious. Have you ever met somebody like that? I just do it. I don't mind. They'll come up, won't they? I've had it. I'm telling you. And I've been so glad I've been the recipient of some people's gifts. Hallelujah. They've been horning on me, Jesus. Now, story don't end there. We already know that may not come when you want it. And let me tell you something about us late bloomers. We think we're there, and in some kind of way, we ain't really there. You know what I'm saying? Here, Joseph had been in jail for 2 years. Goes to Pharaoh, boom. He's there, but he ain't really there. You see what I'm saying? He's not really in his purpose yet. He's there, he's working in his gift, but he's not there. So, more time has passed. Same with some of us. We've been there, had a great job, then that job closed up. Won't it happen? Man, I thought that was my prayer. I thought that was awesome. No, God said not so. So don't get weary. Let's just keep on with the journey. Keep on with the journey. Know that okay, all right. So I'm looking at the scriptures, and Genesis 41:36 tells me that Joseph was 30 years old, 17 when he got the dream, remember? All right. Then he went through all this other stuff. Then he was in jail for 2 years. 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all of the land of Egypt. That's Genesis 41:46. He's 30. But the story doesn't stop there. See, almost there, still working towards purpose, but not there yet. God still gave him that dream. He still got that vision board. Now it's in the closet. You know, sometimes we do the vision board at the beginning of the year, get discouraged because it ain't happening. You put it under the bed, then it might go on the top of the closet. Pull that bad boy back out. Pull it back out. Story doesn't end there. You remember the dream that Joseph had to interpret goes like this. 7 years feast, 7 years famine, okay? That's what he interpreted. Okay, so he's running things now. So y'all do the math. 7 years, now I'm 37. Wow. Going into that other 7 years, I would give him 40-ish. Let's just say 40-ish. 40-ish. He was 40-ish before he could see his dream manifest. He was 40-ish before it started manifesting. He was 40-ish from 17 before God allowed him to see what he said. Y'all do the math. That's a long time. So what I'm saying is this. Sometimes you might get a little bump in the road. You might do a little detour. God knows. He does. He know you dropped out of college. He put that in the plan. He know you went ziggity-boo over here. He put that in the plan. He knows about your affairs and all those situations. He put all that in the plan. Where it seems like you got knocked back a little bit, not so. Hold on. You're still going towards your purpose because he's allowing all those things to work together. All those things worked in that man's life from 17 to 40-ish. Well, what happened? My Bible tells me in Genesis 42:6 that he was the governor. That sounds like a big position to me. I don't know about y'all. He was the governor over the land. Now we're in a famine. Okay? Who do you think can say you eat and you don't eat? Only Joseph. Now, the great part is this, because God is so wise and he's so wonderful. And you know what? God would not give you a dream and you don't pursue it and it does not come to pass. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think maybe some kind of way along the way you might have got discouraged and you put that dream down. But I believe if you stay on course and I believe if you stay in purpose, it's going to come to pass for you. I don't care if you're 65 years old when you get, my brother got his master's. Let me tell you something. This man, my brother who I love dearly, social worker, been a social worker for years, but he would lie and say he had his master's because he always knew he should have his master's. Do you understand what I'm saying? God knew that. Put that all in the equation. Every time you got a job, you're nervous to death, thinking that somebody gonna look at you. I told that boy, I said, if you get your master's, I'll take you on a cruise. This is how smart he is. He got his master's in 9 months. Something he could have done 20 years ago. Do you understand what I'm saying? But that was his purpose. God had already put it in him what he was. That boy was counseling us when we was babies. Okay, now you sit over there. Now what did she say? Okay. Now okay, I promise you to Jesus. God put that gift in him when he was a babe, he was a younger. He would counsel us, get us out, marry. Oh, might as well tell you, might as well not sit on Boston from the couch from her. What do you think, Bruce? Okay, this way. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. God knows all of that, though. He knows all of the distractions we've gone through. But I believe if he put a dream in you and you stay on course with it, even though you get knocked off and, you couldn't pay your financial aid and all that stuff, that's okay. Get back on course. You got purpose in you. It's something, it's a gift God gave you, and it's going to... Okay, all right. Joseph was the governor over the land. He sold everything, okay? Guess who comes in and has to bow before him. His brothers. Those same brothers that tried to kill him when he was 17 years old. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? He's not a man that he should lie. Number 9, bless God as you walk in your purpose. It's not always going to be easy. As a matter of fact, for us late bloomers, it usually ain't. But continue to bless God as you walk in your purpose. Keep on walking, keep your head up, keep looking straight. Bless God as you walk in your purpose. That's what Joseph did. And how I know he blessed God and loved God and God moved him? Because something moved him to pity. He was the governor, honey. He could have had their heads. He could have told them, you ain't getting nothing. Go on back. Kill your daddy too. But he loved God. He blessed God. And God worked in his heart so that he wept. Now, you know what? That's a man of God or a woman of God when you can weep and you know somebody did you something, but you feel passion and you feel mercy and compassion. But you know what that is? That's because what did we do to him? Come on now, where's the cross? And that grace covered us. So all of a sudden that grace kicks in and you can weep. You can feel badly. You know, I know she did me wrong, but she got fired, but I feel badly. Who gonna feed her kids? Come on now. That's when God is in you. I'm telling you, put him first. He's all around you. Okay. Bless God as you walk into your purpose. And the last point is, finally, hold on and know that everything that you've been through, all these years, all those tears, all that labor, all those classes, come on now, everybody been through something. All those people, all that divorce, all of that God knew every single detail. God allowed whatever happened to you to happen. He was right there. He didn't just come all of a sudden. None of this took him by surprise. He didn't look on his calendar and say, oh. He was there from the get-go. How do I know that? Joseph, in Genesis 45, 4-8, he said, please come near me. He's talking to his brothers because he didn't went to the room and cried his eyes out now. So he told, come on near me. So they came near. Then he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now, and see, he didn't do it like this. Y'all know how we do. He didn't do it like that. He did it like this. Yeah, I'm the one that you sold. I'm the one that you sold into Egypt. I'm the one that you tried to kill, hated all my life. I'm the one when I told you my dream, you laughed at me and dogged me out. That's what he said. And he was hurt when he was saying it. Because sometimes when people hurt you, don't it hurt? I mean, but it hurts you that they could be that wicked. Sometimes, don't you, when you see stuff on the news, even you're like, God, how could they be so horrible? How could they do something like that? It hurts you that people can be so horrible. He said, come on. He said, but now do not therefore be grieved or angry, because you know how we do sometimes too. Somebody call you out. Don't you get ugly? Get defensive. Them brothers knew what side their bread was buttered on. That's what my grandma used to say. He said, don't be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years, the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 more. That's why I said he was 40-ish. Still 5 more years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve a prosperity for you in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now, it was not you who sent me here. See, we got to realize that. You okay? It wasn't a repo man when he took the car that you couldn't pay for. It wasn't the crazy ex-husband. God did that. God sent me before you to preserve a prosperity for you in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. So, I leave you with this, late bloomers. People who are dismayed. Some people got their feelings hurt because they had a gift and they felt that things just didn't happen like they were supposed to. I leave you with this. He knows. He knows all about it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what they said. He knows all about it. And if you don't remember anything else, you got to remember that all things, not some things, all things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of that stuff works together for the good of them that love him. So, he knows you were drugged out. He knows that you were drugged in. He knows you were in bankruptcy. He knows you cheated on your taxes. He knows you had somebody else's credit card. He knows about the affairs. He knows about all of that. But he is going to allow all of that stuff to work together so you can move into your purpose. Do you understand? Can we give God a hand?